plays hard, tough to defend, defends people. Yeah, he's had a terrific season.
This is going to get another one off. Was halfway down.
Adriel Bailey
down.
Wanted to get that stat.
It's like a late night on Lower Broadway.
It's like Tom at last call.
Eric Musselman pulls out the victory, even though it's a frustrating, odd night. It'll be a weird, unprecedented day tomorrow here at the SEC tournament. 13-point victory for Arkansas. Vanderbilt's season comes to an end with 11 wins on the year for Jerry Stackhouse in his inaugural campaign as an SEC head coach. Here's what the bracket looks like. Tune in tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern on the SEC Network for basketball. Like you probably haven't seen the SEC tournament played in front of no fans tomorrow. Florida, Georgia to follow. Then at 7 Eastern, A&M, Mizzou. And the night will finish with South Carolina.
But this is it right here. How you like that? The Corona. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, man. Well, yeah, this coronavirus, something else, isn't it? Let me turn my volume up a little bit. Oh, we got to do the intro. Let me share. I usually do this before I go live, and I haven't yet. Hang on, let me get all this out here in the open. So Arkansas gets the dub. Thank God for that. Live, meow, right, meow. Live. Now. Hogs win game 1 or Hogs defeat Vandy in the SEC tournament. Tournament. Let's react together to the awful officiating that is SEC officiating. I don't know. There. We'll just end it there. Live now, Hogs defeat Vandy in SEC tournament. This is on Twitter, so I'm going to post this. So I like I said, normally you guys aren't in on this part of it. I wanted to push this out, go live ASAP because good Lord, it's 10:30 at night. What are you doing? You're still awake. What happens if you Woo Pig Suey on Twitter on their emoji or their GIF? Ugh, Chad Morris, gross. Let's do this. Razorbacks, get the dub. You know what? Why not? We're gonna go old school with this one. There you go. Tweet that out. Oh, you guys still can't see me, can you? Yo! What is going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network / podcast. So this will be uploaded tomorrow morning to the Thirsty Thursday show. So this will be the Thirsty Thursday show. And it's obviously going to be mostly about this game. 86-73, 13-point victory for the Hogs. Should have been over like 45 minutes ago, but good old officiating, good old SEC officiating, doing exactly what they do best, drawing games on for far too long. This game should have been over half an hour ago. It's just it's ridiculous. I'm sitting here like, Musselman gets teed up in the final minutes, and yeah, he jumped out of the box, but he was right. That should have been a jump ball, and instead, or should have been hog ball, and they called a jump ball. It should have been Arkansas's ball because we got timeout on the floor when we had possession of the ball, and we called timeout, and they called jump ball, and he was right, but he shouldn't have jumped out of the box. You're going to get teed up, especially if you'd been warned. I don't know if he had been warned. If he did, I missed it. I must have missed it. Hang on. I'm sorry. Like I said, I usually try to push this stuff out before I go live on social media. VVN tournament. Let's discuss. I should have just... So it's okay. I think we all felt pretty sure that they're going to get this dub. This makes the next game. Who do they got next? Is that South Carolina? Is that who they got next? It's going to make it that much more interesting. We'll share that on Facebook. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom, ba 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 boom. There you go. Vandy sucks. We should have beat their butts by 40. I don't know about that. I don't know about 40 points, but yeah, they definitely should have won by a lot more. Mr. Too Cold, what's up, man? How you doing? Muskets 20. I was going to go to Nashville, Celtics for life, in all caps, Saturday and Sunday if we made it. Not no more. Yep, so if you guys haven't heard, the NCAA, well, the SEC, I guess, has come out and said that we are not going to allow anybody else. Arkansas, I believe, was the last game where they're going to allow the crowds to come in and watch the game. If you have a ticket, you're going to get fully refunded, so that's the good news. I know there are people, especially over in East Arkansas. I had someone someone had DM'd me and said, well, I was going, now I'm not. They DM'd me like an hour ago, and I just said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Not my call, but I get it. You could take it out on me. I understand. Muskets 20 wins with basically the same team last year minus Gafford. Great things ahead in the future. I agree. All right, them refs were pissing me the hell off. They had Vandy covering. Ridiculous. It just, I'm going to go on a little soapbox rant here. Please feel free to like. I'm sorry, I was doing my intro and I got sidetracked. I think I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep. I didn't sleep well last night. I debated doing this, but I told you guys I would. So I'm like, I can't. I got to do it because I told them I would. But, okay. Yeah, like the video, share the content on social media, tap the subscribe button if you haven't already. The majority already have, and I appreciate that. If you want to join the Patreon, the PTN Patreon, and you know, or throw a buck or two in the old PayPal tip jar. Those links are provided for you down below in the description box. I appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out, of course, to all the current Patreon supporters. My beef, I think it goes without saying that SEC officiating, just about a week or so, someone had posted the amount of whistles blown throughout the regular season with 2 or 3 games left to go in the regular season. In the SEC, if I saw this correctly, it was something like 1,000 more whistles blown or something. It could have been shots taken too. I glanced at it, never really went back to look at it, but I did see they were first in that column, and I think some of you in chat, we talked about this last week, and someone in chat said they saw the same thing, the same graphic that was posted on Twitter. And it looked like an official graphic. It could have been complete BS, but it was from a so-called one of those college basketball stat Twitter handles. It's kind of like Pro Football Focus. Well, they're more like they're analytical, but they do it all based on video. This was purely based on just what they saw on or the actual calls. And I guess the NCAA tracks the amount of whistles blown. Of course they do. They track everything, including the amount of possessions in basketball. And I'd seen this where SEC was like SEC plus 1,000. And if I swear I should have done before I went live is gone and looked for that graphic. I for the life of me I cannot remember who posted that. Maybe it's full of it. Regardless, the eye test. I've watched enough college basketball. I have watched some other conferences play this year. I've watched some of the other, the early the pre-conference games. And it feels like the flow of the game in SEC basketball is so much more disrupted by officiating than it is any other basketball that I've ever watched. I was talking to my dad a little bit ago, and he said he's watched Big 12 basketball, and he says he thinks that officiating is far better, that it doesn't feel like it disrupts the flow of the game. In SEC officiating, look, is it an advantage or a disadvantage? When it comes to a team, to me it's about depth. What kind of depth can you play around with that a little bit? If they're going to call a lot of fouls, then do it both ways. I'm not bitching and moaning about the officiating about tonight, other than the fact that it completely disrupted the game and it caused it to go on another 15, 20 minutes longer than it should have. That's a problem. When you're stretching these games out 20 more minutes, 15 more minutes, simply because of poor officiating, because they can't swallow their damn whistle, that's a problem. And if that graphic holds true, I swear I want someone to find this. I want to get this off the official NCAA website if I can. I want to find out if that's true. Because if that is the case, Sankey or the SEC front office needs to fix this bullshit. I'm sick of it. I'm not sitting here saying that it's cost Arkansas games. That's not why. But it's disrupting the flow of the game. It's creating its own obstacle. It's now become more about the officials than it is the actual gameplay on the court. It's a problem. And it's ridiculous, and I'm sick and tired of it. Let these kids play. Or I would like, if you're going to call them, and maybe that is some of the case. Maybe they are trying to call more balanced games. Maybe they are trying to call things both ways on both ends of the court. Maybe that is why we've had so many foul calls. But I say, why blow the foul? Like some of these contact fouls. Like I remember when Mike Anderson took over at Arkansas, they'd made some slight changes to the reaching in and how they call the contact fouls or whatever. When something about when a player's inside the perimeter or inside the paint. I can remember something, it was a big deal, especially after Mike Anderson got hired on at Arkansas, because we know he likes to play a pretty aggressive defense. And a lot of people blamed, and I can remember the saying was that, well, the game has completely changed compared to the Nolan Richardson days because now you get called for fouling way more often. If that holds true, it's made the game, in my opinion, I'm not going to say unwatchable, but it has had an effect. And when there's no flow, when there's no rhythm, when the game becomes more about free throw shooting and letting things like, and don't get me wrong, free throw shooting percentages have always mattered. But when they create such an obstacle, that's when I think as a conference you need to come together and get this thing figured out and be like, okay, officiating is way too big. It's way too much. It's a distraction from the game on the floor. It is a part of the game. I know. I can already feel the comments and the DMs flooding in later. But it's become a distraction, and it's become more about the officiating than the kids on the floor. And I have a problem with that. And tonight was a good example of that. South Carolina earlier in the year was a good example of that. Where I mean, my God, you're talking about team. And Arkansas has been on the other side of this too, where they've actually benefited, where they've had a bunch of free throw attempts at the free throw line, where I'm even looking at the game going, okay, all right, this is a bit much. 50-something free throw attempts. Come on, this is ridiculous. It needs to stop. That's my soapbox. That I'm off of it. It drives me nuts. I can't remember basketball in the 90s. I remember winning the national championship. I remember going back the next year and losing, and I remember that, but I don't remember the flow of the game and how officiating, I don't remember it that well. My God, I was 1994. I would have been, 11, I think? Yeah, I would have been 11, born in 83. So, but I know people who've kept up with basketball for 30 years, and they're like, I've never seen it like this. It's become way more about officiating than it has the kids and the actual game being played on the court, and that's a problem. Tom Hanks and his wife were diagnosed with the coronavirus. I saw that. Ty, a little off topic, but thoughts on the whole deal with Fred Holdberg and Rudy? I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Good win. So, what matters is you won tonight. That obviously matters. Like I said, it bothers me that officiating has become so much what it is. It's that much more of a hassle. It's that much more of a hurdle for both teams to have to overcome on the floor. Not just Arkansas, not just, it seems like it's throughout the SEC. It's a problem. Going to be odd month in sports with no fans in the stands. Did you guys see someone posted on Twitter? It was a video of these guys playing ball on the court, and all you could hear is the footsteps. You couldn't hear the crowd. I thought that was great. Why didn't I think of that? That was genius. That's what it's going to be like if they even have any more games. The NBA has, I guess, postponed the rest of the season. I don't really know what's going on there. LeBron, last I heard, was not happy about it. NBA's just going to say, you know what, we're going to put this thing on hold. I'm not going to comment. I don't want to sit here and I'm not going to do what Clay Travis is doing on Twitter. I'm not a freaking doctor. I don't have a PhD. Not saying that he's wrong. I honestly like Clay Travis. If I'm being real, I like that he calls out the bullshit. I love it. Yeah, I know he wrote the 10 dumbest fans and put the hogs in there, whatever. Okay, we got to have thick skin. We're Razorback fans. I thought it was funny. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what the hell. If people are saying that this virus is serious, if the president is saying we're cutting off travel to Europe for a little while, then all right. You know, do I? Well, I'm not going to get into all the political stuff, but so far, I guess one case down in Pine Bluff has been, I guess they've sent it off to the CDC to see if it is actually, they tested this individual positive, but they're going to send off the results or what they found off to the CDC, I guess, in Washington, and I guess we're going to wait to hear if whether or not I think it sounds like to me this individual has it, but I don't know. So sports. We're gonna talk sports. I'm not a doctor. It's not what this show is. Let's get into this game really quick. Arkansas tonight. I mean, we sat here and talked about bad officiating. Arkansas had 31 attempts at the free throw line and 28 for Vanderbilt. That's obviously. That that's still too many in my book, but whatever. At least Arkansas got. I mean, you got the advantage there with 31 attempts. But we'll start with Vanderbilt's numbers from the floor. They shot 23 of 60 from the floor, 38%. They were 6 of 24. Arkansas's defense in the first half was spectacular. That was some of the. I know some people, my dad included, couldn't watch the game. He just cut his Sling TV services like he does every other week. I hope you're in chat, Arky56. I'm talking about you, Dad. Just keep it on. Just stay subscribed to Sling TV or pick a service and stick to it. He's gonna text me here in a minute. Come out here and hook up my Sling TV for me. But you couldn't watch it. But I hope. Chuck and Zim, I hope they were telling you what was going on. I didn't get a chance to listen to those guys. I was taking a shower. I had my iPad placed up in the shower where I could watch the game and shower. God bless technology and innovation. I'm just going to say that. But it was fabulous defense. I mean, they were doubling up. They were trying to shut Lee down, which is hard to do. He ended up with 30 points, 2 assists. 5 total rebounds with 4 defensive and 1 offensive rebound. Pippen Jr., his dad was in the stands. God, he's starting to age, and that's so sad because growing up watching him and Michael play together and just seeing them age is just. I hadn't seen him in a while on TV, and it's just, and Larry Bird's not, they're starting to show their age, and it is what it is. But Pippen Jr. with 16. Dicey with 13. So 3 of their starting 5 had double digits. Then they had Wright come off the bench with 10 points off the bench. He had 3 offensive rebounds. These guys had 14 offensive rebounds. I don't know the most offensive rebounds that Arkansas given up on the year, but that's a lot. I haven't seen that number against the Hogs in a little while. Since I think I've stayed on par with just about every game this season. But these guys did Vanderbilt played themselves back into this game. I think at one point it was, a 20-point game, I believe. And they played themselves back into it. Yeah, some of it happened, in the first half. Arkansas had something like a 20, I think it was 24-9 or something for a while, and they started chipping away at the lead by what? Free throw shooting. I mean, that's how they started chipping at the lead, getting more shots at the free throw line. Don't get me started. Some ticky-tack foul calls. And there are also some stupid fouls. That foul on Witt with 5 minutes to go where he tried to block almost a corner pocket shot over there off in the corner, and he kind of, he ran into the player with the ball. Was it Pippen, I think? That was a foul. I mean, that was just stupid, and there was some open – there's actually – again, I've noticed some more uncontested open looks out in the perimeter by Arkansas's defense, which has been unlike them most of the year. But again, they held these guys to 6 out of 24 at 3-point range. That's not terrible. But again, so 4 out of their entire roster, and these guys have a pretty thick roster here, but 4 would get into double digits. Again, that was Lee at 30, Pippen Jr. at 16, Daisu with 16, and Wright with 10. My kid's TV is so loud. I hope you guys, I'm sure you can hear that. Arkansas, there's nothing I can do about it. That is so loud. Wife, if you happen to be watching this, can you have the kids shut the door? Arkansas from the floor, 25 of 51. They shot 49% from the floor, 12 of 28 from three-point range at 43%, and they were 24 of 31 from the free throw line at 77%. Mason Jones was 10 of 11. Witt was 4 for 4. Harris was 2 for 2. Joe 2 for 2. Sills tonight, 5 of 6 from three-point range. He had 20 points off the bench. Your leading scorer was Mason Jones with 22. 3 of your starting 5 got into double digits. Mason Jones and Isaiah Joe both fouled out. Isaiah Joe with 18 and Witt with 12. Witt kind of got into a little bit of a rhythm there and then had to make up the rest of his points at the free throw line. 8 total offensive rebounds to Vanderbilt's 14, 26 defensive to Vanderbilt's 22. Again, overall, Vandy had the edge at 36 total rebounds to Arkansas's 34. Arkansas moved the ball around well tonight. I thought the ball movement, especially in the first half, was spectacular. 17 assists, 5 steals. Vanderbilt had 8. Vanderbilt also had 8 assists and 13 turnovers to Vanderbilt's 40. And did they have any? I don't think any of them fouled out. I don't think so. No, yeah, they did. Okay, my bad. Lee did foul out. My bad. But so did Mason Jones and Isaiah Joe. So that's what you got going on. I think moving forward, I think South Carolina is next. I didn't have that pulled up. I'll say this. I don't think they're built for tournament play. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they prove me wrong, and that's if we even have a tournament. And you wonder, too, how much with nobody in the stands, how much of an effect is that going to have on everybody on the floor? I kind of feel like Arkansas has fed off momentum pretty well this year, but so do a lot of teams. It's going to be it's going to be fascinating. I've never watched a college basketball game with nobody in the stands. That's going to be crazy. You're just going to hear sneakers. We're going to get to hear Musselman scream and shout and pound the deck. We're going to actually get to hear Musselman. They ought to they don't have to. I was going to say they shouldn't mic him up, but you're not going to need to. This is going to be fascinating. I don't know how much this is going to affect the actual game being played on the floor, but it's going to be interesting, too, to hear how the announcers react, too. You know, and when the players run by the announcers, I bet we can hear them jawing at each other. I wonder how many F-bombs we get to hear. It's going to be interesting because of depth. Yeah, Mr. Bloodline, definitely because of depth. Depth is a problem. Size is an issue. We saw tonight 2 guys foul out. Look, Vanderbilt they're not a good basketball team. Arkansas did get out to a 20-point lead there for a little bit. Should have won by more. We already went on officiating for a little bit. But I don't think they're built for tournament play, mostly because of depth. I mean, that's definitely if our starting 5 can stay healthy, we have a chance. Well, we'll see. We'll see. The good news is your line to throughout the SEC tournament, the next teams up, I think are all beatable. I mean, that's the good news. I don't think there's anyone that stands out like, oh, they don't have a chance here. That is the good news. Again, I don't know if they're going to play these games or not. I feel like we're going to wake up tomorrow and we're going to hear about how the SEC's actually just canceled or moved these games back. I don't know. 2008 SEC tournament semifinals. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if I trust Witt inbounding the ball anymore. Tell me about it, right? Are we still the first game tomorrow? That's a good question. I'm not really sure, Alex. NCAA tournament is happening. No fans in any games, including Final Four. NCAA is looking to move the Final Four to a smaller venue. Yeah. when I saw Scottie Pippen Sr. shown on TV. I screamed, "Go Scotty!" Yeah. Trying to scroll up, read everybody's chat. I know I missed quite a bit there. I just saw a video of I just saw a video of refs now compared to refs in the 80s. Refs now give technicals for touching. Refs in the 80s told someone to play the game and quit being a baby. Oh, nice haircut. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. What's up, guys? Nice haircut, Ty. Have you guys have missed? This is like my third show with the haircut. So, yeah, it's happening. It's just, I mean, anything can happen. The NBA just canceled the rest, or I guess have postponed games the rest of the year. We play at 8. Okay, 8 tomorrow. No! I'm going to try and follow these games as best I can. As far as doing the post-game shows, I can't make any promises. I'm going to try. Just go in tomorrow thinking that we're going to do a post-game live show. Just do that. When Eric Musselman got the tech, I wished he would have cussed the refs out. Would have been fun to see. How about tomorrow, where we're not hearing anything but Eric Musselman scream at the refs tomorrow? That's going to be great. Time playing Borderlands 3 to cope with that god-awful ref. Yeah. How about Call of Duty Warzone? Oh, my goodness. Who's playing that? Everyone else is like, what are you talking about? What is this? What is this Call of Duty Warzone? It's fun. I've only played like a couple of rounds. The what is it where you get to do the actual respawns? You don't have to go to the gulag. It's so fun. It's so good. 2008 was the year the tornado hit the dome. Moved it to Georgia Tech without fans. Oh, okay. I didn't know. I don't remember that. We made it to the final that year. Okay, so late game tomorrow. Yeah, it sounds like a late game. Again, I'll try to keep you guys. I really didn't today. That's my bad. Well, because I went live, so there was no need to go to Twitter or social media. I think if we're gonna get into the tournament talk, let's just pretend like no games get canceled. Everything's just as it should be, only without fans. I do still believe they're going to have to win the SEC championship to get into the NCAA tournament. When you have a losing conference record like Arkansas does, I know Florida got in, but I think their record was, I think they had at least a couple more conference wins than Arkansas did this year compared to what Florida had last year. Was that last year or year before last? I think it was last year. But I think that it's yeah. I'm not liking their odds. I think they're going to have to win. I think they're going to have to win this thing. And I don't even think that's impossible because they played some of these teams. I mean, look, LSU, you really think LSU's that much better than Arkansas? Arkansas should have beat them on the road. The only team, I mean, obviously Auburn and Kentucky, that's another story. But I still like Arkansas's odds to win. I think they have a good shot at winning 2. Other than that, I'm not, it's a dice roll. If we win tomorrow night, we play LSU Friday night at 8. Okay, that's right. And I think they can beat LSU. I do. Like I said, they should have beat them on the road. That was the second worst officiated game I've seen this year for Arkansas. I didn't know why Chaney was in the doghouse when he trash talked a player. Yeah, he. So that's how many techs has he had this year? Someone do the math on that. What is it? Seems that guy. Was that? Who was that earlier in the? Was that LSU where he got that tech right before halftime? Who was that? I can't remember. Georgia dominated Ole Miss. Well, yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, Twitter people, even non-Arkansas fans, were complaining about the officiating. I'm just saying. Bear with me. It is so bad that the game is so much about officiating. I hate it. We can win this son of a bitch, says Celtics for life. Yeah, I hope so. It'd be great. What a year though for Musselman. What a year. All right, what are we on? 30 minutes. We're at 30 minutes. Scoot my chair up. Don't forget scrimmage. Move to Fayetteville. We're gonna be there. That's the plan, assuming we're not all dead from the coronavirus. Or, maybe like zombies walking around. My nose itches. Bunch of undead, walking dead zombies with our hog hats on. Don't forget Mississippi State. They seem to always have our number. That's very true. Chaney dropped some foul-mouthed bombs. Yeah, he did. He has a hard time. Just be our luck to win SEC title and the NCAA tournament be canceled. Oh, I could see that happening too, and it is just, Hog's going to hog, and that's not really even in their fault. Chaney has had 2 techs. I thought he had more than that. I swear I thought he had 3 or 4. His emotions get the better of him, and he's just stupid sometimes. Ethan Henderson is another guy, not technicals. It seems like when he walks in, as soon as he's on the floor, all he's got to do is look at somebody, and he gets called for a foul. How did he do tonight on fouls? I'm going to look at that really quick. He started, but he didn't get a lot of time. I don't think he played much. Yeah, he didn't get any fouls, and I don't think he saw a lot of time. But he did have an offensive rebound. 3 total rebounds tonight. 3 blocks. It's not too bad. That's not shabby for Henderson. I can't wait to figure out how many minutes he got. Of course, ESPN doesn't post that until a little while later. But, yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it. Will you shave the beard if we win this sumbitch? No, I will never shave the beard. I'm ready to hear some language tomorrow. It's happening. All we're gonna hear are their footsteps. The chip chip chip. I can't make the sound. It's all we're gonna hear, and we're gonna hear the guys yelling at each other, and Musselman screaming at the officials. It's gonna be great. He had some great blocks. He did. Ethan Henderson. He's getting those quality minutes. I don't know how many minutes he got. I don't think he was on the floor very long. Typically, when he's on the floor, he's fouling. But there were several possessions there where he just controlled the inside. And considering he's not a true 5, he's not a true center, he's done a pretty good job of working on boxing out and playing a little bit more physical down underneath and really attacking the boards. I've been proud of him. Ethan has come a long way. Hell, everyone shit-talked the guy. I kind of had hinted to maybe there's a possibility of him transferring because he wasn't seeing a whole lot of time on the floor. And here he is towards the last half of those last, 5-6 games, and now the SEC tournament. He's coming through and getting some quality minutes, getting blocks, getting offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, working on boxing out some of the other true bigs when he's not getting fouled for it. It's really fun to watch the evolution that is Ethan Henderson, and I don't want him to transfer. If I'm being real, I want him to stay, continue to work on his game, and maybe one day he'll be one of the better big men in the SEC. Big men in the SEC. I really like if there's anyone throughout the season, we could talk about off season. Mason Jones, Bailey, those guys have done great. Chaney, But Ethan Henderson throughout the regular season, there's no one that's transformed as much as he has, in my opinion. I think some of the other guys may have even slipped a little bit, and Ethan Henderson continued to get better. And he's continuing to get quality minutes on the floor, which matters so much. And here he is, he's getting 2-3 blocks. It seems like every time he's on the floor, he's got to work on the fouling, and again, I think some of that is also ticky-tack foul calling by this awful SEC officiating. You know where I stand on that. It's a bunch of BS, but I loved how much he's grown throughout the year. I don't want him to transfer. Maybe that's not so. That might be a slightly unpopular opinion, but that's where I stand with Ethan. I want to see him come back, and I want to watch his game grow and evolve at Arkansas in a Razorback jersey. I'm proud of him. Good job, Ethan. I know he won't see this, but he had some great blocks. Yeah, Henderson looks better every game. I agree. See ya, Alex. Musselman saved Henderson and Bailey's legs for tomorrow. I could see that. You're probably right, Tristan. That's actually, there you go. Goes back to that whole depth stuff, Notice they didn't play as much. Thought that might be the case. Yeah. If Ethan improves on offense, look, there's just some guys. Dennis Rodman is a great example of an underneath just defensive rebounding machine. Now, obviously, helps when you have size, but I don't know that we'll ever see his offensive game. I would love it if he had an offensive game. I don't think that's the kind of guy. I don't think that's the kind of player that he is. I think he's going to be a blocker. You know, he's going to help defend against the post maybe a little bit. He's going to help against those mid-range shots. He's going to crash the boards. I think that's the kind of player he is. I think he could truly, if you get a true 5, if you get someone on defense that can play the 5, you get a true center, he could be a true 4. I think that's what he ends up being to some capacity. It'd be nice if he had an offensive game, but I don't. You might see him. I think he had one game. He's had one, maybe 2 double-digit games this year. When you consider the amount of time that he's played, that's pretty impressive. But I don't know that he'll ever become an offensive threat. I don't know. Then again, when you get some more size and you get some more distractions inside the paint, you drive the lane more, you get some easier looks inside, anything could happen. But if you're not, you need a big. With Connor Vanover, things would have changed on the defensive end so much for Arkansas. It's just ridiculous. Kind of strange to see Bell at Pro Day instead of Nashville. Yeah, Dennis Rodman is a perfect comparison to Henderson. And that's what I think he could grow into. Something like that kind of player on defense. Henderson equals Stephen Hill. Ooh, okay. I have a feeling Henderson is going to become a stretch big. He's going to be one of those guys that he's going to have to play bigger, especially the rest of this tournament. For him to get more minutes, and he will. Tomorrow, I'm assuming he'll get a lot more time. That's why we saw Chaney and those guys rotate more, or at least more than we have in a while. He's going to have to play 2 inches taller and 2 inches wider the rest of this tournament. And I think he's capable of doing that. He's also just as capable of getting fouls left and right. That's, to me, what I would rather him work on more than the offensive game. We need him on the floor longer. You can't come out on the floor and expect to get quality minutes when you get back-to-back foul calls within 3 or 4 possessions. That's just not how this works. And you're not going to get quality time. And although Musselman's tried to work him through some of that, and he has played on the floor before with 3 and 4 fouls and not been pulled, not often. It's happened a couple of times. But Musselman will have a lot more faith in that kid if he can just stay out of foul trouble. And some of it, again, I've noticed they call. It seems like when Arkansas tries to box guys out inside, they call, like, they won't let them. They get called, and that's part of my issue is they're smaller than these guys. What do you want them to do? It is what it is. Okay. By the way, Ty, hi. By the way, hi, Ty. I almost missed you. Okay. I agree. Rodman is a good comparison. Calling it now, the NCAA tournament needs to fear 2 people North Dakota State and Arkansas. Okay. Did you see that Arkansas reached out to the Big Ice? Yeah, my dad was actually telling me about that. I hadn't seen that, but I'd heard it. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And I also heard something about the kid down at UCA who's a big. Or I guess he's like their leading rebounder. I saw someone tweeted that out and that Musselman was expected to reach out. I wasn't going to talk about it because I didn't get his name. But yeah, I did see that. I'd heard about the Georgia Tech and the UCA kid. So, all right, that is it. Thank you, guys. Share the content, subscribe if you haven't already. The plan, again, is to go live after the game tomorrow. Things can change. If I'm this tired tomorrow night, I may not. I don't know. I'm pretty exhausted. Again, shout out to the Patreon supporters. I know I'm not supposed to do that, according to some people. I'm not here to listen to you thank your Patreon supporters. But I'm doing it. Thank you, guys, and to anybody who's donated to the PayPal. I do appreciate it. If you guys want to become a part of that, the PTN Patreon link is provided for you down below. If you don't want to join the monthly thing, if you don't want to do that, there's a tip jar, PayPal tip jar. You just click the link and it takes you right to where you need to go. That's it. That is it. We will record the Hog Talk podcast at some point tomorrow. Don't know when, and this will probably be the Thirsty Thursday show. So that will be this show. So, again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through. And I will probably see you tomorrow night. Go Hogs.